Welcome to Mental Junk Food, where we talk about all things comics, sci-fi, horror, pop culture, fantasy, and everything in between. And today, we're going to be talking about Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog Indiegogo campaign, which has raised over $300,000. Now, for those of you who don't know who EVS is, prepare yourself for a short bio. Ethan Van Sciver got his start in the comic industry around the age of 19 with what he called a horrible little character called Cyberfrog. Those are his words, not mine. And Cyberfrog was written and drawn by him and published by Hall of Heroes and later Harris Comics. Ethan Van Sciver has contributed to a number of series of comics for Marvel Comics and primarily for DC Comics. Titles include the New X-Men, Flash Rebirth, Green Lantern, Superman, and Batman, to name just a few. Now that you got a rough backstory on EVS, here's a little about Cyberfrog. Now, the origin of Cyberfrog goes like this. Trick Ran comes from a planet called Azalon. Females reproduce by generating a shapeless mass of energy, which takes the shape only upon contact with two living organisms. Generally, these two organisms are the child's parents, and it meshes to the couple's characteristics perfectly. In an attempt to spread peace and knowledge throughout the universe, a plan was formed to send out an unseeded energy masses to distant planets, including high technological living sentient robots known as the Sin. The Sin was to be the first parent. Now, on Earth, a human was to be the second parent. Aboard the vessel named Kjell Sin was the energy mass named Trick Ran, the son of Sikaran and his mate Kjell. A crash landing on Earth in a swamp caused the energy mass to release early. As it leaked out, the Sin was the first to contact as planned, but the energy mass of Trick Ran came into contact with a bullfrog. The result was a surly hero who enjoys fried chicken, caffeine, and violence. So, that is the backstory on Cyberfrog. You have to trust me on this. If you read Cyberfrog back in the 90s, it truly was a comic book that stood out among the rest. It was high energy, fun. It was a comic that didn't take itself too seriously, while at the same time told a very cool and imaginative story. And the art could be described in very much the same way. In my opinion, the only reason Cyberfrog didn't blow up bigger than it did is partly due to the explosion of comic books in the 90s. You had so many different publishers such as Marvel, DC, Vertigo, Malibu, Valiant, Milestone, Techno Comics, Broadway, Image, Defiant. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So it's no wonder poor Cyberfrog got lost in the shuffle. So, back to the point at hand. On June 10, 2018, Van Sciver announced his departure from DC Comics, which was a bit of a shock, but then again, it wasn't if you've been following a lot of what's been happening in the comic book industry. But he left DC Comics to focus as an independent artist and continue his work on Cyberfrog full-time. Now, as of June 22nd, his Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign to fund his 48-page comic entitled Cyberfrog Blood Honey has raised more than $300,000, with 7 days left to contribute to the Indiegogo campaign as of June 22nd. So what do you guys and gals think? Are you excited for the return of Cyberfrog? Have you contributed to the Indiegogo campaign? Or are you of the wait and see crowd? Or is Cyberfrog or EVS not your thing? Please let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And please remember to subscribe to be kept up to date to all my latest videos. This is CB Smallwood, and I will see you in the next video.